Today on Driven by Purpose, we're joined by someone who is truly transforming lives from the very start. Dr. Nageena Akhtar, a neuropediatric chiropractor and the founder of NeuroActive Health Hub in Dubai. Dr. Nageena works closely with children and families to support neurodevelopment, behavior, and overall brain health. Her work goes far beyond traditional healthcare. It's about early intervention, awareness, and creating a real lasting impact in these children's lives. Let's dive into her journey, her purpose, and the incredible work she's been doing all these years. As mums, we're constantly wondering if we are doing enough for our children and our child's development. Let's hear it from Dr. Nageena. Good morning, Dr. Nageena. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Armin.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for being here. And why don't we just start with you telling us about yourself, what you do?
Well, hi, Armin. I'm Dr. Nageena Akhtar, as you know. I'm a neuropediatric chiropractor here in Dubai and working internationally. I primarily work with children with neurodevelopmental and neurobehavioral disorders affecting their development and integration into communities and mainstream schools. I work on developing integration of their left and right brain so that they can function really well and to be able to have better attention, focus, sensory integration. So I'm working with all the difficulties we're seeing day to day now in children. And this journey stems from my own personal experiences over the years. I primarily became a chiropractor because of my mother. She suffered with migraines all my life that I remember as a child. So at the age of 10, 11, she was suffering with severe migraines. And one day someone said, go and see a chiropractor. And back then, this is over 30 years ago, we didn't know what that was. Never heard of them. So off we went. I tagged along with my mum, as you do. And she lay down on a table. This is what my memory is of this moment, was she lay down on a table and the chiropractor just went click, click. And she got up off the table and she said, my headache has lifted. Wow. And then the next morning she said, I slept like a baby for the first time in 25 years. And it was that exact moment that I decided I was going to be a chiropractor. I didn't study anything else. I didn't apply to any other university. I went and straight away started to study sciences at the age of 11. And by the time I was 14, the chiropractor was amazed that I'd known I knew quite a lot of the muscles already because I was dedicated to having that magic in my hands. Wow. That adjustment gave our mother back to us. Prior to that, we would see her, either she was at work or she came home and she was in bed with a shayla on her head, with a bucket next to her in a blacked out room. And so this transformed our life and as our childhood was improved significantly. And I really wanted to be able to give that back. So I went and became a chiropractor, started a family after I got married and had welcomed my baby boy, Daniel, after 10 years and a lot of struggles, a lot of miscarriages and ectopic pregnancy in the journey. And when he came along, he was a much wanted baby. And so we were really enjoying motherhood, working. I developed my business in England and continued to really enjoy this journey until we decided to have another baby. Okay. I enjoyed motherhood so much. I was like, let's have another baby immediately. I tried for Umar Ali and he came along a year later, but unfortunately he had a neurometabolic condition of unknown origin and passed away at just under 6 months old.
Oh,
and this,
so sorry.
Thank you. And then shortly after that, Danny, my eldest, was diagnosed with severe autism. And I was told that he would never talk, he would never amount to anything, and he'd need 24-hour care for the rest of his life. And this snapped me out of grief because I was grieving for my second son who had passed. And it really shunted me back into reality that I've lost one son, I will not lose another.
Oh my God.
And for Danny, I then committed into understanding how am I going to help my child? I was so fortunate that I was a chiropractor because the doctors basically had signed him off that he's going to need to be institutionalized at some point. He'll need 24-hour care and he won't be independent and he may never speak. So,
how old is he now?
He's doing his GCSEs, he's doing his maths exam today. So he's 16, soon to be 17, fully verbal, fully integrated into mainstream and excelling in his chosen subjects. So
bless him.
It's been a long journey, Armina. It's been a long journey. And
Take us back to how this began, especially this neurodivergent journey of yours. Whatever you're doing for neurodivergent kids, young adults.
For the children, it started with Dani, really. So I started to understand, I wanted to get to the core reasons why this happens. I knew the brain was plastic. So if the brain is plastic, it means it can change.
What do you mean by plastic?
So the brain is not fixed in connectivity.
Okay.
So it can change. So the more you stimulate it, the more it can adapt. And so when I understood this from even my chiropractic training, I realized that the doctor's saying my son has severe autism, but yet we don't know where exactly in the brain this is happening. Yet we say it's neurological. And then on the other hand, we know that the brain is neuroplastic, so it can change.
Right.
So why are we not changing it, right? Anyway, she tapped me on the shoulder and said, off you go, and you're in denial, as most parents are when we first get a diagnosis. But I committed to then understanding, how does the brain connect? How does it develop? How does the brain develop from birth onwards? And where do these changes occur? Some occur in utero while the mother's pregnant. Some occur, when we're born.
And when did you diagnose Daniel?
He was diagnosed at 3 years old.
3 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed some changes, but I was in denial at that point because Umar had passed away. I remember noticing that he wasn't speaking as much.
How far along were these two children?
So Daniel was 9 months when Umar Ali was born.
Okay.
So it was quite soon
close
after.
by, yeah.
And Umar Ali passed when Dani was around a year and a half.
Okay.
And then by 2, I noticed some things were not quite right, but I didn't want to see anything wrong. I didn't want to see it. So when I have parents coming in and we can see that there are some things that need to be addressed to help the child thrive, but sometimes we're not willing to see it. And that's okay. That's okay. I recognize that. But it's really important to act fast because early intervention is crucial for children to really show their potential and improve significantly in whatever that their challenges or their developmental delays may be.
Indeed. So, Dr. Nageena, was there that one moment that changed everything for you? Was it a negative memory, or is it a negative memory or a positive memory that changed everything for you and what you do today?
It was February 2017. I was standing at the graves of 2 of my sons that had passed. I had another son who passed away in 2016. So I remember standing between their graves in 2017 and trying to make sense of it, trying to make an understanding as to why did you come and then you had to leave. And I remember it was that moment that I decided that I would honour their lives in every child I served, and that every child I serve, I would look for evidence of Umar Ali and Qasim. And so that moment was where I was so driven that I'm going to change the world. I'm going to help as many children as I possibly can because I'm serving my own children. And I wanted to go back and see them and say, Mum done you proud, boys. So we can work with that. And that was the moment.
Bless you. Do you want to take a moment?
Yes.
Can we get her tissue, please?
I've got one.
You've got a long journey to go.
Thank you. Need to get my voice back now. I try every time not to cry.
No, it's only natural. It's been what?
10 years.
10 years now? Yeah.
Yeah, so one's been, 10 years for...
2017, 9 years, yeah.
Yeah.
February 2017.
So Umar Ali and Qasim, they're the reason why I work the way I do.
Do you wanna tell me
About the neurodiversity of what we're doing
yes,
with the Little Method?
but
Yes.
before that, that one memory beyond standing on their grave, that one happy memory that you've had with these 2 boys that you want to see in other children that you're helping?
So I think I would need to be with Dani because Umar Ali and Qasim, they had a tough little life. They both had seizures that were not controlled, and then they passed away. It was peaceful passing away, but it was the joy I had is in their smiles and holding them. and just enjoyed Qasim the second time. But
Was it too close after Umar Ali passed
yes,
away?
Umar Ali passed away it's funny because the dates were strange because Umar Ali passed away on the 27th of July and Qasim was born on the 29th of July. Umar Ali was born on the 6th of February.
The next year.
Yeah, and it was like 5 years apart, but 5 years apart, 4 years apart.
Dr. Nageena, I truly believe that that moment of vulnerability or that moment of grief or that moment of, a real shock or jolt in our lives is solely there and given by the grace of Allah, given by the grace of God, to not make us weak, but make us stronger from that point on. I always keep going back to the quote, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
100%.
Right? And that is the only thing that I say to myself, and I'm sure you did too, and you do too every single day, when things like these happen. Some challenges at that point when you're in that, you just don't know how to come out of it. You just don't know if you're ever going to come out of it. But remember one thing, the Almighty is with you, and He thinks that you need to go through this. You need to go walk through this patch of fire to rise above most other people. I really, really want to congratulate you, but also give you as much as empathy and as much as respect.
Thank you very much. It's been a journey, but like you just said, I mean, it's definitely from God, and I accept that. And that has driven my purpose to work so hard, and I'm so committed to all the children I serve because in my mind, I'm treating my own children. So the commitment to them is unwavering. And to this day, I'm studying. In a few weeks, I will be traveling to Australia to do another course to be able to help them further. Because, as you know, with neurodiversity, there's so many different aspects to it. There's so many different types of challenges that it may present with. So I want to have as many tools in my toolbox to help each child to the best of my ability. And so one of the most amazing things that's happened over these years is that I have committed myself to learning and growing and developing so that I can help every child and family to the best of my ability and with my team. Because more and more, I mean, we're seeing more and more children with neurodevelopmental delays, autism, ADHD, dyslexia, focus and attention difficulties.
It's become mainstream, more so. And speaking of challenges, in the early days when you started off on this journey, I'm sure it wasn't an easy journey. What were the challenges that you faced?
There's lack of awareness. That there was a lack of awareness, lack of information available. My pediatrician in the UK told me that there's not much you can do. And back then, I mentioned ABA to her, and she said, "Well, we don't know if that's even effective." And so it was very much like go away and live with this label. Right. Without giving you any tools for rehabilitation or any tools to help your child,
or just get institutionalized eventually.
Yes, and this was the approach, and I think that caused me to just contact my colleagues and say, "Look, I don't understand what this autism is. Can you help me?"
Yeah.
And then they directed me to different functional neurologists that would then help me understand how the brain is developing and how we can help it, and then to learn about the gut and how the gut health is so important in these children.
Absolutely. Gut health is actually very important. For someone like me or other mums that will be watching this, for someone who doesn't understand neurodevelopment, what exactly do you do and where does your intervention come?
So what I do is I assess how the child's brain has developed from 0 to 1 years and onwards. So if we're checking for reflexes of the brain that should be there in the early years, early months of life. And we want them to be integrated by age 1 at the latest. If any of these reflexes remain, it basically means the brain is immature. And so therefore the brain will lack connectivity between the right and left side.
Like what? What kind of
So this may be
markers?
like the child has lack of eye contact, that they're not responding, or they don't meet their motor milestones, they don't roll over on time, they don't cross crawl properly, they don't sit up and stand up on time. And I know the timeframes that are provided by the CDC have been extended, and the reason for that is that more and more children are showing delayed milestones.
Yeah.
But we're not addressing why they're showing delayed milestones. We're just extending the time frame, and which is not actually addressing the cause. So what I do is I find where the child has developed their milestones, and we will go back and see if they've missed any, or they did some activities or failed to do other activities, and we need to go back and retrain the brain to build those connections. Because without that first layer of primitive reflex integration, you will not get sensory integration. So a lot of children will have sensory processing issues,
Right.
and sensitivities, and even like food aversions. So all of these reflexes need to integrate for the next layer of the brain to develop and the next functions to develop. So we have, body motor coordination, auditory language skills, and then academic learning. So it's like a pyramid of how the brain develops.
So what if someone comes to you maybe at 24 months and not 12 months or 10 months?
We would look and address, again, those reflexes, because we can test them even after the age of 1.
Sure.
And we test them to see if they're still there. And if they are still there, we create a unique program for that particular child to address their needs. And so every child has a uniquely tailored program to address their challenges. So if they have sensory issues, if they have, drooling or mouthing or no focus or no attention, we work on these areas to help them integrate them.
If you were to tell us about 2 to 3 most common markers or most common issues you see in children today in this decade, let's say, what would they be?
There would be lack of attention and focus. It would be poor coordination and sensory integration. There would be a lack of situational awareness. So they're not aware of themselves and the environment and how to interact with the environment. So we're seeing this a lot more in children.
But then at 12 months, wouldn't you just assume that, all right, they haven't been social or the family structure is different, therefore their social skills are not so developed? Or, the other markers that you mentioned, they're just so normal to assume.
Poor eye
away,
contact
right?
would be a huge red flag.
Poor eye contact.
Yeah, so poor eye contact, not socially smiling, not liking to be held or needing to be held all the time. These are all signs that the body is not regulated. And so what I do primarily is I start to do chiropractic adjustments to help regulate the nervous system, to calm the body down. So we see babies as well to help improve colic or reflux and help them with sleep, if they're struggling with sleep and bowel movements. So constipation is a huge component in children.
Yes.
So we would need to, that would be a huge indicator that there may be something going on. Delayed head lag in a child. So if your child is not having head control, this is one of the early signs that the child may have some developmental milestone issues happening.
But how would they be development based? What if this actually spine also comes as neurodevelopment, right? Yeah, okay. So, sorry, not a doctor. But no, as a mom of 2 myself, I'm just trying to replay those markers in my mind and imagine. And I've got so many other friends to this day, who have newborns, whom, we don't wish on them anything, but it's just good to know.
And absolutely, in the first year of life, definitely get yourself checked by a neuropediatric chiropractor or any of your healthcare professionals to make sure that the reflexes are emerging and integrating on time.
And I'm going to segue into this one thing, just thoughts that's come on my mind. There's a lot of pressure on women today, right? While mums are nursing their kids, newborns, firstborns, an element of postpartum depression also plays on you, right? How can one manage both these things? Because, at some point it might just, you might ignore something that you're noticing, or you might be oversensitized to something. Have you faced a situation?
Yes, definitely.
Like
I see a lot of new mums in the clinic because once they're pregnant, I see them through pregnancy. Then I want to see the new baby, make sure that they're developing well. And I make sure mum's doing well because mum gets overlooked in the whole process and she's usually last on the list at the end of having a new baby in the mix. So what I do is I make sure mum's regulated first. This is so important. We sit and we ask if mum's doing okay, if she needs to speak to her healthcare provider
Right.
for any interventions or, support. We mentioned having, a support system because at this time it's so difficult to manage a newborn and to manage yourself and a work that's, quite demanding as well. So a lot of these working mums are struggling.
Exactly.
So it's so important to have the healthcare providers aware and to follow up on you. I mean, I follow up on all my new mums, make sure that they're doing okay. And if they need support, if we have postnatal depression, then they must get the right treatment for it. We in our clinic provide transcranial magnetic stimulation that helps regulate the nervous system as well. And it's known to help with any types of some types of depression. And so this can really help new mums too. But really, we want to make sure that they have the right support network and ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't really happen very often, and it doesn't come naturally. We have to train the minds of new mothers especially to reach out and ask for help, because it's somewhere, if you're a very successful career-oriented woman, you might take the simplest thing about breastfeeding as a stigma to your own ability.
I think also we have to be kinder to ourselves.
Yeah.
I believe that there's a lot of taboo around if you say that you don't feel connected to your baby, there's something wrong with you, And it's like if you're not feeling overwhelming joy, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And that's because your whole body's gone through such a huge change,
Yeah.
emotionally as well. So we have to be kinder, one to ourselves and to the new mums, because they're trying to figure out what's going on too.
And in your journey, you've done this over a decade, more than over a decade. Can you share one case or one story that has really stayed with you today?
There's this beautiful little boy. I was visiting Pakistan and I was on a vacation, and I said to Mum, I just want a break and I don't want to do anything. I want to sort of relax for a while. So please don't invite anyone to come and have any treatments or anything. And then this little boy came, and he wasn't walking. He was about 4 to 5 years old at this point. And he
wasn't walking?
He wasn't walking. So he had cerebral palsy, I believe. He was cognitively aware, but he wasn't able to work with his legs. So he was bum shuffling into our home with his mum and grandma. And I just remember, and they didn't realize I was a pediatric chiropractor at this point. So I just grabbed the boy and I started to stimulate his reflexes, and then showed them how to stimulate his reflexes. A year later, I went back for another vacation, and he came in walking to meet me.
Oh my God.
And I remember crying because I was just like, this is why I do what I do. This was magic.
I was just going to ask you, the next question was what was that one transformation that made you feel this
He
is your
definitely
purpose?
did, because at the time of the first vacation, I was feeling a little bit burnt out.
Oh.
And I remember thinking, do I really want to work with children, or is it all I know? And so when that boy came in and I grabbed him without anyone asking, and I told his, grandma, I'm going to check him. And I did that automatically, like it came from within. So I was just like, I want to work with children, I want to do this. And then the following year when I went and saw him, it just cemented that this is what I was born to do. This is my purpose in life. And I thoroughly enjoy it. It is a rewarding job, it's challenging. But the hugs you get with the children,
The smiles.
Oh,
the
it's
hugs,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's such a deep connection.
Today, parents are very busy. Parents have a lot more to dabble with, especially in third cultures like the UAE, where nearly 90% of the population is not from here. What are the 3 key things every parent should start doing today? Every young parent, every older parent?
I think the key goal is reduce screen time. You've got to stimulate the child, really, for children particularly. Screen time is detrimental to the brain, especially in the first few years of life. I would say have 0 screen time for the first 3 years.
First 3 years?
Yes, because you are not allowing the eyes to develop into 3D functioning. It's more fast screen images that will create the brain to actually, some studies have shown it causes the brain to shrink a little bit. Wow. So it's quite damaging. So we want to avoid that at all costs, really. And get the child engaged in physical activities. Lots of play areas, lots of parks, swing slides and roundabouts. This will stimulate the vestibular. Yes. You want to be outdoors as much as possible. And you want to engage in little play groups, because we need to develop that social engagement early. Because more and more we are isolating ourselves because we're doing things from iPads or laptops
Right.
and so forth. So we want the children especially to learn to engage.
And there's a rampant amount of pediatric myopia for the eyes, right? That children are facing.
Well, this is because we're not going out in nature. We're not looking outward. So our eyes are not diverging and not seeing big, beautiful scenic views because our focus is much more limited.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the eyes are straining and the muscles that you're going to use are going to be exaggerated in this respect. And so we want to make sure that we are able to cause convergence and divergence of the eyes and really use the muscles well. Otherwise, we're going to get this, rising in myopias and disturbances of visual fields.
Is there a way to correct that?
So there's many things you can do. I'm going to be training in Alison Lawson method, which is also a visual processing training for the eyes and for learning in academia and dyslexias particularly, because this can directly affect our learning ability.
Exactly.
If we cannot read well, if we cannot converge or saccade the eyes or move the eyes across a page easily, we're going to struggle with reading and comprehension.
And attention then.
Yes, and attention and focus will be massively impacted. So what we want to do is have the child able to maintain eye contact, be able to move their gaze without losing focus, and so be able to learn. Because if we have any issues with our eye tracking and our auditory processing, we're going to find learning very difficult.
And that's part of your...
It's part of what we do. So we look at which side of the brain needs more work. So particularly if the right brain is weaker, you would see this as lack of non-verbal communication, lack of awareness, lack of bodily awareness. So child may be having regular accidents, not being able to control their bodily functions.
Yeah.
And so this is usually a right hemisphere delay and the lack of ability to communicate.
Right. And one myth about children's development you want to break.
You don't wait and see. Don't wait and see for anything. If mum knows something's off, she's right. 100% of the time she's right. And so I often say to my mums, don't listen to any of the doctors in the world. You are the greatest doctor for your child. You know your child more than anyone on this planet. If you feel something's off, something's off. Don't wait and see. Go and seek help.
Absolutely.
And don't stop seeking help.
And don't keep I would say, probe your paranoia.
100%, honestly. And I know sometimes when I ask parents that come in with their children that are a bit older, I ask them, when did you notice something was not quite right? And they would say at 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. But I was just told it's normal, the child is lazy, the child is too shy. There's no such thing as being too lazy or too shy.
Right.
The brain is designed to develop on time. It blueprint birth. We are designed to roll over, to crawl, to sit. We're not teaching the child to do this. It's automatic movements of the brain.
Right.
So if they're delayed, we have to look into why they're delayed. And then we just go in and we start to stimulate them at the right time. And even as they're older, if they've not been stimulated, we have to stimulate them to develop those pathways that would lead on to the next level of pathways for the brain to develop. So it's quite simplistic when you look at it. It's just we stimulate the areas that were not stimulated enough. And when we look at things like autism and ADHD, it's a connectivity issue between the both sides of the brain.
Right.
Not a structural abnormality. The brain is
Not.
scanned normal, right?
Yes,
EEGs are
exactly.
normal. So what we're seeing is that there's a lack of connections, long range and short range connections between the right and left brain, which allow us to function fully.
Right.
And that's what my work is really focused on, is identifying these lack of connective areas and to stimulate those pathways so the child can thrive.
You know what? While I'd love to talk to you more and more about this, being conscious of time, I just want to ask you two closing questions. One is, it's been running in my mind throughout this chat. It's about you've come from great amounts of grief into this purpose, into this journey of your life, Dr. Nageena. But one of the things that I believe from whatever you've said to me and in this conversation is that you want to avoid the catastrophe for the children and the parents. But while you've gone through that catastrophe, many other parents have gone through that as well. If there was one message you want to give mums like yourself, what would it be?
Always follow your instinct. The maternal instinct is the most powerful. The mother's intuition is always right.
And why do I think that there is a sense of regret there for you?
Because I initially didn't follow that instinct because the doctors told me otherwise. And the doctors told me, you're just being overly worried about your son. This was particularly with Umar Ali, and I did not fight back. And I did not argue with the doctors because they were the doctors, they were the neurologists, they were the, gastroenterologists.
The subject matter experts.
Yes.
But your instinct.
My instinct was something's wrong, and I remember coming back and saying to my sister, they're not listening to me, they're not listening to me. There's something wrong with him and they're not listening to me. And from that moment, I remember now thinking to every parent, you must follow your instinct. Even if I tell you something and you don't believe it's true, you're right. I'm limited with my expertise too. So if I can't help you, I will direct you to the doctors that can and what we need to explore. So I'm not a one-size-fits-all either. So right. I'm going to help guide you with the best doctors in Dubai because we have incredible doctors here. And I work alongside with them because it takes a village to help our children.
Of course. And
so we want to make sure all the experts are on board with what we're doing to help the child thrive and the families because it's a family affair. So we've got to make sure everyone's working well. So mothers, follow your instincts because you're right.
You're always right.
You're always right.
You're
always right.
Yeah. Last but not the least, in one statement, in one line, what does driven by purpose mean to you?
Driven by purpose means having a life that has meaning, and it gives courage, and it gives courage to continue.
It does. Indeed, it does. Thank you so much for coming here and being here. I am truly speechless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.